Welcome to the third-party Transformer news for Retro Robot Radio for the date of November 21st, 2015. Alright, been a while since we had time for a show, but I figured I could probably squeak one out this weekend. Right here we have our first images of what appear to be a nearly complete Bold Forms figure inspired by Megatron. This figure is going to be a triple changer from Megatron mode to tank and handgun. Here you can see him in his tank mode. And also here's his gun mode. Now, I really like this figure. It's about the size of, say, MP10 or Leader Megatron. And one of the neat things about it, I think, is the whole design with the Cybertronian tank and Earth gun mode. Means that you could use it as a triple changer, but also you could just use it as him getting reformatted. On Cybertron, he's a tank, then he comes to Earth, and he gets reformatted into a gun. And hey, you know, that works real good. I was hoping that maybe we could get Dinobots in that way, where they are Dinobots, or they're tanks, or they're dinosaurs, or just stuff like that. It's kind of neat. DX9 showed off its Gerwalt figure, which is Gerwalt or Gewalt, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but that's German for violence, and it's their figure inspired by Generation 1 Blitzwing. And we got our first image of its prototype. Looks like he's a pretty big guy. I might be going with the masterpiece size there. I'm not sure. Also, they have a small figure named Leia, who's their version of RC. Here in the gray prototype form, ends up looking quite a bit like the old Impossible Toys Nightbird. Also, DX9 has their Hulky figure, which is getting nearly complete. Here you can see a painted test shot here. FansToys teased some upcoming figures. This is their upcoming Galvatron masterpiece-sized figure. And also you can see outlines of a Scourge and Cyclonus. So everyone has to have their Galvatron, Scourge, and Cyclonus, I guess. Also, they have an upcoming Hot Rod figure called Hoodlum. And the funny thing is that Takara just announced a Hot Rod figure. So I guess they're trying to say that, hey, we can make one that's even better. Because it probably won't be able to compete with the price, but maybe they could just make it that fans will want it to be the perfect Hot Rod. Generations Toys showed off their little Megatron-sized figure. It's meant to be a 7th member of their Constructicon-inspired combiner that it can turn into a gun that Devastator can hold in combined mode. Iron Factory showed off a ton of images recently. These are the finished color images of their 3 brothers, which are Blue Streak, Prowl, and Smokescreen, figures that are inspired by the IDW Stormbringer comic book alt mode for Prowl. This is their set of pre-Earth Dinobots. These are all legend-sized figures, of course, from Iron Factory, who are famous for that. This is their Blitzwing-inspired Cybertronian Triple Changer. Also, they have prototype images. This is their upcoming Legends RC figure. Hopefully, we'll be getting recolors of that as Paradron Medic or as Nightbird, hopefully. They also have a Stormbringer Optimus Prime figure. Some online images show that possibly they could even be making a trailer for this, so that he'll have a trailer that gives him a super mode. Also, this is a figure that seems to be inspired by Deadlock from the IDW comics, so Iron Factory really into the IDW comics these days. This one here is a little bit unforeseen. Seems to be inspired by the Generations Black Shadow action figure, or Sky Shadow, I think they called him in the US release. So I'm not sure if this is going to actually have a full Pretender little robot that comes off of it, or if it's just a solid piece that transforms into a jet. But be interesting to see. I think in the Deluxe Generations figure, the little nose cone on his back there came off and was a non-transforming drone, but it was meant to represent the small inner robot for the original G1 Black Shadow. Mastermind Creations showed off a test shot of a figure that seems to be inspired by IDW Cyclonus, and this seems to be a remold of their Jaegertron figure, which was their version of Lockdown. Mastermind Creations showed off a test shot of their, I'm going to slaughter this, Seraphicus Prominion, I guess we'll call him. But yeah, that's their Nova Prime inspired figure. And you can see here he comes with a trailer that has armor. I'm not sure, I think it looks like that trailer just carries his armor, but then there's also bits of it left over that don't combine with him, because that's just like a wing pack that he can put on. But here he is in his alt mode, and here he is in his alt mode with the trailer, and here he is compared to the Mastermind Creations Terminus Hexatron. So looks like maybe Voyager sized figure, and then upgrades to a nearly the size of Terminus Hexatron when it combines with its wing pack. TFC Toys showed off some more members of its Hades and Poseidon combiners. This guy, Akos, seems to be inspired by Skyhawk. Here you can see him in his alt mode and with his little bird breast force accessory. Here is Hypnos, who appears to be inspired by Kill Bison. Oh, excuse me, Drillhorn. This is Drillhorn. And there's his little rhino. And then we have Big Bite, which is one of my favorites because I had him as a kid. It was the only member of the Seacons I owned. Big Bite is, of course, Skalor. And I do hope we see recolors of each of these guys. Oh, here's Romanthidus. Okay, I'm really losing these names here. Why can't they need to pick something that's not like F-15 Eagle, but not Ramahabahabithith. You know, just something in between for easy and unique. But this guy appears to be inspired by Leozak. You get your jet fighter, and you got your lion. And then Cerebrus, which is their version of a Jaruga, with his little jaguar, and his vehicle mode. But anyway, I'd really like to see these guys in the alternate color schemes as well, not just as Leo Kaiser and Piranacon, but let's see Big Rescue Force, let's see the God Neptune, let's see the Transformers Collectors Club limited version of the Seacons, all those things. You know, they got the molds. Also, here you have some color images of their versions of Kill Bison and Hellbat here. Looks like Transformission Toys is working on their combiner inspired by the Stunticons. This guy's a pretty big one. We have two combiner Stunticon limbs and in their alt modes. And also Unique Toys showed off their Sorter test shot here. I think for some reason it's in blue as a test shot, so it's not final colors. And that's their figure inspired by Generation 1 Sandstorm. As a special little feature this week, I'm going to be showing off some of the Chinese Kre-O-inspired combiners that are coming out recently. As you may know, the Kre-O combiners were made by Hasbro, and they were all initially inspired by Generation 1 combiners. Then Hasbro started making up their own new combiners just for Kre-O. Well, now the companies that are making knockoffs of Kre-O have just started making up their own new combiners. They don't seem to be based on anyone in particular. They just took the parts of 4 random figures and made a combiner out of it, and they're selling them in box sets now out of China. This one here is called Storm Warrior, and he looks like he's kind of like one figure looks like it's Dirge in red, and another one looks like it's looks like Beachcomber in red. One of the aerial bots, and then another one is Highbrow in red and gray. And they all combine to form Storm Warrior. Another new combiner is this guy called Waves Warrior, who looks like he's a mix of Nemesis Prime, Hook, one of the Minicon snow plows, and a remold of gears, all put together to form Waves Warrior. Here's a fun one here. It seems to be the Wingspan, the Cheetor, the Rhinox, and the Headstrong Kreons in odd colors combined to form Jedi Knight. And because they can't seem to think of a name, they just call this one Storm Warrior as well. And he's a combination of Misfire, Crankcase, Guzzle, and Springer. So that looks pretty neat, and I might have to look for some of these if they ever end up coming to the US in cheap form. I'll let you guys know if they ever become available. They just got teased out of China. Alright, we got some feedback from last episode. Rabbits272 says, nice stuff. Thanks for letting me know about the MP Conads, Matthew. 2 things I would like to see. An MP Turbo from GoBots and a third-party Skylynx. Seriously, how come this hasn't happened yet? Well, I don't know about Turbo, but I do know that Machine Boy did tease a Skylynx. And hopefully, once the Combiner Wars Skylynx comes out, there'll be some third-party upgrades for it, although it's still going to end up being kind of small and a Combiner torso, but hey. Stormrider X writes, you are partially in luck. Takara MP Shockwave will have lights. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know. Dinobot Maximize writes, I have a question for you about the Combiner Wars Devastator and all the upgrades for him. Off all the upgrades, what is your suggestion of the ones to get? Well, in fact, those are only just starting to come out, so I haven't had much of a chance to review them yet. But I am curious what will be coming. I think I am leaning towards the Dr. Wu replacement Mixmaster and possibly some of the Perfect Effects stuff. Stormrider X writes, Thunderstorm Thundering Wing looks very cool. You are correct. And Jurist Man writes, I picked up the TFC KOs of Hercules and Uranus. Interestingly, one of the Uranus limbs is a knockoff of the Warbotron Combaticon shuttle. The quality is pretty good considering the cost is less than one of the limbs for the original toy. Get this, the Uranus is upscaled 25%. Herc is in scale with the original. Both have significant design simplifications that really limit articulation, but not bad for the price. I might also add myself that there are several different knockoffs of Hercules out there, and some of them are more simplified than others. So you might want to check them out and make sure you're getting one of the better ones. Because I got a really simplified version, the cheapest one, a long time ago, and I don't think it was worth it. I should have gone with something a little nicer. But I think even the good one you can get shipped to your house for under $60 these days. This week's screen capture is of the combined form of the robots in the 2010 Indian science fiction film Robot. This week's news brought to you from the pages of tformers.com and TFW2005. News read by Matthew Ignash. Stop by wikialpha.org to read more about third-party Transformers. Check out the Facebook page of the third-party TF Crashers. And then come on by the Retro Robot Radio YouTube channel and subscribe.